friends, it's Elisa here with Thoughtful Creativity, and thank you so much for being here today because I'm super excited. You and I, today, we're making and sewing some really fun and easy pajama pants. And you know what not to love, because they're also really great for gifts. They're great for your spouses, your kids, your mom and dad, or any other human being in your life that you can get your hands on their pants and trace it, because that's exactly what we did last time you saw me on the video. What we did was we took the pants that we already have in our wardrobe and then we made a pattern out of it. And if you haven't seen a video where I do that, I will leave it, somewhere linked up there, so that way you can go and check it out. But for this project, I already have everything I need. I have my fabric picked out, have some cute little llamas over here. Look at that. And then I have my pattern. The only extra thing that I'm thinking about is, what if we add some pockets, for some extra comfort and extra element to these PJ pants? So that's the only thing. But other than that, let's get right into it. You're watching Easy Sewing DIY, a weekly series where I make a simple pattern, then I sew it and love it. Everything is straightforward, so you can make it as well. Tune in for new episodes every weekend. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to take our fabric, we're going to lay it out nice and neat and flat, and then we're going to take our pattern and we're going to cut it out. Now I'm working here with a directional print, so all of my llamas are facing one direction, and if you're working with a similar pattern, you definitely want to make sure that you take that into account, so that way it doesn't happen that you have two pant legs but your print is going in an opposite direction. And to summarize my previous video in the series, if you haven't seen it, I took these pants and then I turned them into a pattern for a front leg, back leg, and a waistband. So as I am cutting my fabric, the important thing to note, and you're probably wondering, why am I cutting it a little bit bigger than the actual pattern? Well, it's because I am tracing and drafting all of my patterns without seam allowances. That's the way I prefer it. I prefer to see the actual measurement on the pattern without anything else added onto it. And then when I do cut out my fabric, then I add my seam allowances as I go. And another reason why I do that is because some fabrics I like seam allowances are really narrow, and some fabrics I prefer for them to be a little bit wider for extra stability or whatever else is the reason why I'm doing that. So I think it's a thing of a preference, but I do find it very useful for myself just to have the pattern without any seam allowances. So that's an extra little tip for you guys. And then once we have the pant legs cut out, I'm going to show you a little trick that I usually do about the waistband, and then we're going to talk about the pockets. So the waistband trick consists out of two parts. One of them is fabric, and while my actual pants are going to be out of non-stretch material, here I'm cutting my waistband out of this gray jersey. I'm going to cut it a couple inches shorter than I actually need to, because obviously it stretches. And the other trick is that if you did watch my other video on tracing the pants, is that I actually curved in this waistband, and that's the reason why you see the curved in sides of it, because that's what's going to make it lay a little bit flatter and comfortable. Alright, let's talk about the pockets. For that, you will need the front piece of your pattern and just a regular printer paper. Now, the type of the pocket that we're going to be drafting is going to be a patch pocket, and that's going to be a little bit easier for us to construct and to sew it all together. Now, grab your Sharpies and a ruler and let's get drafting. So, I will take about 5 inches to the right, so that way I can actually fit my hand into the opening of the pocket. And then for the depth, I'm going to take 3 inches. There we go. Now the next thing is I'm going to connect those two dots and I'm going to make a straight line. That is going to be the opening of the pocket where you put in your hand. Now you can leave it straight or you can curve it in, whichever way is going to be correct. Now for the depth of the pocket, I'm going to take 9 inches. I'm going to make a little mark, and after that I'm going to draw a line to signify the bottom of my pocket. Once that is done, I'm going to curve in the opening of the pocket just because I prefer it that way, but as I mentioned, you don't have to. Either way is correct. And then I'm going to curve in the straight angle of the side of the pocket as well. But just like I mentioned before, you can also leave it as is. There's nothing wrong about that. Many patterns have it both ways. Now for me, this pocket is a little bit too wide, so I'm going to bring it in by about 1 inch. And that's it. Our pocket is ready. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut it out. And then remember, since this is a patch pocket, you're going to need to cut out 4 of these to create 2 pockets. So let's get that done. And you can easily draft it yourself, or another option for you would be to download it as an extra bonus for joining the membership of the channel. The membership is paid, however, you do get quite a few bonuses with that, especially some instructional cards, free downloads, freebies, and a pocket tracing if you would like to. So definitely take a look. If you would like more information on that, it will be in the info box below, and you can also click on that join button, and then it will show you a trailer and list all of the benefits that you get for joining the membership. So that's another extra option if you would like to support the channel and maybe dive a little bit deeper with me into some of the sewing and simple pattern drafting. And now I have 4 pieces of my pockets, which is going to make 2 pockets in total. Go ahead and lay them right sides together and make sure that everything is nice and neat and matching, because now we're going to be stitching them together. So you're going to sew this side, which is the opening of the pocket, and this side, which is going to be the bottom of the pocket. I'm going to use a serger, but you can use a sewing machine with a zigzag stitch, so don't worry if you do not have a serger, that's not a big deal at all. So once you have done both of them, the next step would be to turn them right side out. Once you have turned them right side out, go ahead and give them a really good press with your iron. Obviously here I'm doing it off the camera, I'm just using my imaginary iron over here, but you get the point. And after that, the next step is going to be to give it a top stitching at the opening of the pocket right over here. And I am just so fortunate to have a matching thread already in my sewing room, but you can also use a contrasting thread and make it really fun and interesting. Now I'm using just a regular straight stitch. If your fabric is a little bit thicker, you can adjust the length and the width of the stitch, but easy as that, you're just making a straight stitch at the opening of the pocket. And this is how it looks when it's all done. After this comes my favorite part. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the front part of your leg pattern and you're going to take your pocket and you're going to line it up. Now you're going to pin it and then you're going to sew from the top down to the pocket and also the side as well. So we're basically just attaching the pocket to the front pant leg, so that way we'll be ready to sew all the pants together and we'll be just minutes away from completing our sewing project. To sew the pockets to the pants, I'm just using a straight stitch without any fancy little things. Just remember, when you're going around the curve, go nice and easy and slow. That will ensure the nice precision of the stitches to make sure that everything looks nice and neat and professional. Okay, so I know that pockets is a difficult, painful topic for a lot of people in sewing, and this is your first time making pockets and you succeeded. Pat yourself on the back, because you know what? Every little step counts, and celebrate all the wins that you have, because at the end of the day, it's your hobby. It's kind of like a solitary hobby too, you know. I mean, you can sew in a group, but when you're actually sewing, you're just sewing by yourself. So definitely make sure that you celebrate all your little and big sewing wins. So now that your pockets are done and attached, we only have just a few more steps left to do with our pants. Number 1, you're going to take the front and the back piece, you're going to lay them right sides together, and then you're going to sew the side seams, both the inner and the outer one, and you're going to repeat it on both sides, on your left and on your right pant leg. Once that is done, you're going to place them inside each other, just like you see me do on the screen, match the points and the seams of the crotch, and sew the crotch. Now once the crotch is done, we are ready to move on to the waistband. Now remember, my waistband was made out of stretchy material, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to find center back and center front, since the seams are going to be matching with the side seams of my pants. Once I made little notches, I'm going to attach my waistband to my pants, matching up the center front and center back as well as the side seams. Now remember to leave a tiny little opening for your elastic to go in. Now usually you would cut your elastic about 1 inch or maybe 2 inches shorter than your waist or your hip measurement, depending where your pants are actually sitting. Now once you have threaded your elastic, go ahead and sew it and then hand sew the opening of the waistband shut. And after that, all that is left to do is just to hem the pant, and you can do it in so many different ways, and I will leave that up to your imagination. You can do cuffs, you can just do regular hem, you can do a wide hem, you can do drawstrings, whatever you would like. And ta-da! You've made yourself pajama pants. And they don't have to be pajama pants. They can be sweatpants. And if you use nicer material, they can be also pants that you can wear outside as well. So definitely let me know in the comments below if you followed the tutorial, if you made them with me together. I'm super excited to see what you guys are up to in sewing at this very point, and I hope that these videos are useful to you. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see your lovely face next time. Bye!